All right. Hi, you guys. It's been a while. I'm a little out of practice, so give me a minute to make sure I can get everything situated here. Melissa says sounds good. All right. Let's find my video here. If you're watching on a replay, let me know in the comments. Put hashtag replay, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube. You can see I'm in a different place this time. I am at home. We'll talk about that a little bit, why I'm here and not at the shop. Some of you know already, but let's see. Get that. As you're popping on, tell me hi. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me what's going on in your lives. It's been a few weeks since I've seen a lot of you. I was in the shop briefly on Thursday and Friday. Wednesday? Nope. Yep. I can't even remember. My days are just all blending together. Hi, Shar. Hi, Sarah. I don't even have anything that's easy to work on right now. I'm between projects, and some of the projects are at the shop. Sherry, Brenda, thank you. Holly working on making Panda Express orange chicken. Yarn-wise finishing Alina's sweater and socks and more. Holly was just on a road trip down south to, I think, Georgia. And it looked like she got a lot of car knitting done, which is awesome. Nicole, seeing if I can make a pair of ankle socks with the new Earth mini kit. Awesome. I feel like you would be able to. That was one of my thoughts with those kits, is it seemed like it would be enough yarn to do a pair of little ankle socks for an adult. So I'm curious. Hi, Patty. Hi, Mama. Jasper, Georgia. Okay, awesome. Lisa, working on your pressed flower shawl. Oh, it's so good to see everybody back. Yes, I saw she was at Bucky's too. One of these days I'm gonna have to get to a Bucky's. I've never been. Vicky working on your pressed flowers. Ashley finished her pressed flowers cardigan this past weekend, and it's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I hopped on a little late, so I will go ahead and get started. Hi, show finishing Melbury Cal. Awesome. I know a few people were working on that. So welcome to Monday Motivation. Today is September 23rd. My name is Kristen. I am the owner of the Little Yarn Shop located in downtown Saginaw, Michigan, inside the SBRC Marketplace. Marketplace hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Shop hours are Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Other comments, what I see. Mary's working on a baby sweater. Marianne working on your All Points South. Awesome. Liz, hi Liz. So as you may or may not be able to tell, my voice is a little off. I am a bit under the weather. So I was kind of feeling crummy when I got back from Ireland, and it kind of hit me pretty hard on Friday, took me out. So I am staying away from the shop for a couple days, just in case it's not totally out of my system. I'm definitely feeling better now than I was 2 days ago. But I'm grounded. So here I am. And that does also mean that my surgery that was scheduled for tomorrow has to be rescheduled. Well, tomorrow's surgery has been canceled. We haven't rescheduled it yet. I have to talk to the nurse tomorrow. But for those of you who were asking or praying for me and curious about what was going on, surgery tomorrow is not happening. But I will probably not be in the shop part of this week. Again, just to give myself a couple more days. I think some of it's jet lag too, trying to get myself back on track with things. So I'm home. You guys are with me in my dining room today. It happens to be the one wall that I have an actual picture put up. I haven't gotten very far with the rest of the house. Yolanda is working on the coastline capelet. Excellent. Noelle, hi. Chandra's working on her bee's knees cardigan. Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Cool. As a reminder, I know Melissa put a link in the comments on Facebook. I'm sure she did on YouTube too, but because we're live streaming both and it's two different streams, if for some reason one gets kind of wonky, you can always pop over to the other. We're on both and we record both and they stay on the pages on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page after the fact. So if you get interrupted rudely and can't continue to watch, you can always come back and watch later. So I finished my typo top. You can kind of see that I'm wearing it. It is designed to be a crop top. Two awesome and friendly yarn shops in Blairsville, Georgia and Elijah, Georgia. Oh, cool. Awesome. I'm glad you found some good ones, Holly. So the typo top, I feel like it took me forever to do, even though it's just a tiny little tank top and it is mosaic. It's not branded colorwork. It's either mosaic or just stripes, but it is designed to be a crop top. Works well with a pair of high-waisted jeans, or you, because it is top down, you could continue to make it longer. You could carry and do more patterning if you wanted to. She does tell you that you can do all of the patterns if you want. I think there are 6 different patterns, or you could alternate just 2 of them. You could do just 1 of them, whatever. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I like the fact that I did the alternate color of the I-cord edging because it really does show how that's done after the fact. I think if I had done it in the brown, it would just all kind of look the same. Okay, sorry, I was looking at something on my phone screen. I thought I was having a reflection like I was last time I did a live. But the yarn I used was bamboo pop sock. So it's a great cotton bamboo nylon blend, lightweight. These were the colors that my indecision dice chose. They chose brown and yellow, and so this is kind of a taupey tan color and yellow. I used up every little bit of 1 ball of the taupe color in the pop sock. And then obviously I had quite a bit of the yellow left. But that was one of the reasons I stopped where I was, because I thought, well, I just wanted to see how far I could get. It is the length that she recommends. She doesn't give you an actual length recommendation. She just says this far or as far as you want to go. So I think it's 3.5 inches past the last stitch section before you do an I-cord bind off. I did block it. I didn't pin it at all. I just kind of got it wet and laid it out. But so I think if I had pinned it, maybe the edges wouldn't roll quite so much. If that bothered you though, if you just did all of that I-cord edging in the same color, you wouldn't even notice it. But I think it gives it a good finished edge. I like how this kind of rolls out a little bit. So I was happy to have it done. So that's the typo top. I wanted to show off a finished project that is not something that I finished, but it's something that is here at my house because it is a gift for my child. I don't remember why. Victoria gave something to Sarah's daughter, Noe. And as a thank you, Sarah's mom crocheted these sleeves, fishnet sleeves. So I looked at this. I was showing Melissa these before I went live with all of you, and I said they're pretty cool, but I don't know if they're going to fit her. And I started putting them on, and they actually fit me. So the pattern is called Fishnet Opera Sleeves. I think that's the pattern that she used. Unless I put them on upside down. It calls for worsted weight. This is, I'm pretty sure she used Heritage fingering weight. But for as skinny as they look, and they'll definitely fit Victoria because Victoria has tiny little arms. But look at how cool those are. The original pattern has like a little just a ribbon run through here with a tie as a little embellishment, but I think they're so super just unique. And it's all like, if you are even just a basic crocheter, you could do this. It's all just chains. Um, yeah, I think she'll love them. I think Vicky had a different pattern in mind, and I came across these ones and I was like, oh, we would love something like this. Of course, because they're at my house, they're already covered with cat hair. But I just think they're really, really cool. So I wanted to show those off. I have to get it back off my arm. It's like fishnet stockings though, right? Like it looks like there's no way your leg's gonna fit in something, and then you just figure out how to make it work. So those are the fishnet opera sleeves. I finished the first of my blocks of, yeah, those of you who know V know that's her style for sure. Um, I've been a little bit over the last couple days working on the Stella quilt blanket, and I finally finished my first block, and I even wove in all the ends, you guys. So here she is. Look at how beautiful this is. I'm so, so happy with how it turned out. Um, it is a lot of ends to weave in because sometimes, well, you're either working one color or two colors on a block. Most of the time you're working two different colors on a block, and these two are done differently. So there are ends to weave in. Plus it's fingering held double. So it's a lot of ends, but I really, really, looks like one of those finger traps, Melissa says, yes. But it's so squishy because it is two strands of fingering held together. It's just so squishy. It's just, and it was fun. It was really fun to do. The pattern is really well written. Once you understand the concept of what's happening, it's pretty easy to follow along. So my plan is that each block will have the dark gray as the background color, and then the inside will be shades of a different color. So the next one, I started pulling my scraps, and it's going to be kind of, oops, not that one. That's attached to something else. Different blues. So I have little bits of blues and big bits of blues. And because you hold two strands together, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. Like this, I'm not even sure that's enough for one of the little trapezoids, but it might be. So we'll see. Yeah, Vicky, exactly. It is very quilty. It's the quilt blanket. And I know a lot of you would appreciate that. So my next one's going to be kind of different tones of blues. And in the pattern, she does tell you how to continue, because this is done sort of modularly, and you're building it as you go. You start in this corner and you work your way across 4 strips, and you're joining them as you go. And then she does have a method written in there on how to continue joining the next block. I don't think I'm going to do that. Hold the two littles together. Maybe. I think I'll probably hold a little with one of the big ones, and I think that might be enough. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think I'm going to do each block individually because I do want it to be a little bit more portable. I think if I tried to continue building on this, it's just not going to be as portable and as pleasant a project as I want it to be. And I want to continue working on this because it is fun. It is kind of, I wouldn't say instant gratification by any stretch, but it's kind of like working stripes on something. You get with one little block done, and then you move on to the next thing, and it keeps my brain entertained, which I need. So that is projects. I am working on a 2-color shawl called Happy Tens, I think is what it's called. It's not released yet. I believe Lori said it's going to be put on Ravelry in October. So this past weekend, many of you know, was the Knit One Love One retreat in Bay City. And Karen attends that. And we set up a table, we kind of set up a little mini shop there for the ladies. And I unfortunately wasn't able to even visit with many of them beyond when I saw them very briefly if they stopped in the shop before they went to Bay City. But Lori is the one who puts it on, and she is a designer. This was her 10th anniversary of Knit One, Love One, not necessarily the retreat necessarily. I said that twice. But the Knit One, Love One brand, I think, has been around for 10 years. And so she wrote her own patterns for their retreat, and they will be out to the general public next month. But I started a 2-color shawl project with our custom Dreaming Color, and then the beautiful kind of, they called it neon cream. It was the neony greeny creamy color from the Dreaming Color Club from August, I think. I ordered an extra bag of that while I still could. And so you may see that in the next couple weeks once I get that back in my hands. I want to continue working on that. I haven't worked on a shawl in a while, so that'll be good. I finished a cowl too. I posted it on Friday. That was also from the Knit One Love One retreat, kind of a gray and red cowl. I don't even remember what the name of it was, but that one's coming out too. What else? Coming up around the shop. This Saturday is the Comic-Con at the marketplace. So if you see that event on the SVRC page, make sure to like it and share it. Let other people know. Also as kind of a heads up, if you generally come in on Saturdays, you are still more than welcome to come in. Just know it might be a little bit harder to find parking than it normally is. I'm not quite sure how busy the event's going to be, but Comic-Cons in general tend to bring quite a few people in. So we love it. But don't let that keep you away. We love to see all of you in every day we can. Oh, staring right in front of me here. I got two new batches of stitch stoppers in. So those will be in the shop at some point. I may sneak over there tomorrow while nobody's around and drop some stuff off and pick some stuff up. If I get my act together. But I got I ordered an assorted batch of Halloween, fall stitch stoppers, and then a small batch of Christmas stitch stoppers, because some people get into Christmas a little bit early, some people get into fall a little bit early. So I think it's probably 3 dozen different ones, and I only have one of each because I just wanted like a variety of things this time. So I pulled a couple of them to show kind of a taste of the different ones. Some of them are more fun, some of them are more sweet. So I figured I'd show a few off, but there are some like these little kitties. Look at how cute they are. They have like little trick-or-treating witch kitties with pumpkins. I'm hoping that the camera focuses on these a little bit. Bats with syringes that say got blood. Happy little skeleton heads. These ones kind of remind me, there are these ones, there's another skeleton one that reminds me of the Mr. Bones scene in White Christmas. If any of you, I'm sure many of you watch White Christmas, but when they're putting on their performance and they sing the Mr. Bones song, and anytime I see skeletons like this, that's what it makes me think of. This one says bad witch vibes, and that's a little skeleton with some cheetah print. Gnomes, we of course got some gnomes. There are these little guys with a pumpkin and a cauldron. They're really cute. See if the Facebook feed will focus in on them a little bit. It always just wants to focus on my face. And then some kind of more fall ones, not so Halloween. Like this one is pumpkins, like Western style pumpkins. The colors are so cute though, because it's like browns and teals, little. It's hard to see that it's two separate. There we go. It's like a little stack of pumpkins with like some of them have a little cow print on them and one's got a little Western hat. They're so stinking cute. And gnomes. This one is a gnome driving a truck with like a cheetah print pumpkin in the background and little flowers coming off of it. And then I must have only grabbed a couple of the Christmas ones, so that they're a little bit more low key, this batch, like little hot cocoa mugs. These guys are really cute. They're like no me snowmen. It's hard to see because it's so white, but they're so cute. So these are all $8.50 each. They should be in the shop this week. I don't know what kind of display we will have them on because I do only have one of each. It's hard to put them on those hooks because they take up so much space, but they may be on the hooks. Just make sure you flip through because what's in front isn't always what's on the rest of the hook. It's kind of like going to the thrift shop, right? Like you can't just walk by quickly and glance. You got to look through things a little bit more carefully. Um, that's all I have for yarn shop stuff. If you wanted to stick around and hear about the Ireland trip and see some of my souvenirs that I can show because they're not gifts, I figured I could spend a little bit of time, or I would spend a little bit of time talking about the trip and the places that we went, the places that we loved, some of the local artists that we found, some of the yarn that I found, some of the knitwear that I found. So if you don't want to stick around for that, I completely understand. I do plan to be back to regularly scheduled programming and being on live from the shop every Monday at 7. So if you are taking off, then thanks for joining us for tonight. But if you're going to stick around, I can tell you all about our 2 weeks in Ireland. So it was great, you guys. I was so prepared for the weather to be just rainy, a lot of rainy, drizzly. When we looked at the forecast, it showed rain, like at least a 40% chance of rain for most days. And I was kind of hoping, okay, maybe it's rain like it rains in Florida, where it rains a little bit and then it's sunny for a bit. But I wasn't really sure. We only actually got rained on when we were out doing things one day. And it happened to be the day that we were at the farmer's market, so we could be under people's canopies. And then we went and wandered through an abbey and it stopped raining at that point. But it was raining a lot around us. We just weren't ever really in it. It was so bizarre, like hiking to some of the waterfalls we went to. There were 2 different waterfalls right by each other, and I can't the one was called Devil's Chimney, and I don't remember what the other one was called, but you could tell when we got there, like we went inside at a coffee shop before we went to the second waterfall, and it downpoured while we were inside. And then we had to wait a few minutes, but then it stopped. And everywhere we went, it was just like raining and then not raining. We drove through a little bit of it, but everything was just so green and beautiful. Would I go back again? Yes. Would I spend 2 weeks there? Maybe in one of this, if I split it in one of the cities. So what we did was we spent our first 2 nights in Dublin, and then ended up at an Airbnb in Longford, which is in the middle of nowhere. When I told our waiter at one of the restaurants the first day where we were staying, he said, that's like telling somebody you went to the US and stayed in Nebraska. Like he said, it's literally like a flyover place. Why would you stay there? But it was perfect. It was pretty centrally located. It was a sweet little place that perfect for just my niece and myself. and we loved it. It was the furthest we had to go for anything was like 3.5 hours. The one drive home was like a 3.5 hour drive. And that was from the Giant's Causeway, which was in northern, like the very tip of Northern Ireland. And that was a late night. I think we got home at about 11:30 that night. I drove, we did rent a car. I ended up doing what I thought I might do. I had rented a manual transmission. But when we got there, I was like, how much would it be to upgrade to an automatic? So we did that. And then the woman at the rental car place said, you're going to want navigation because, yes, you have a smartphone, but it doesn't do you any good if you don't have cell service. And there definitely were parts of the country where we had no cell service. But to driving on, I did pretty well, you guys. I didn't hit any other cars. I didn't hit any buildings. I didn't hit any people. I didn't hit any pets. I didn't hit any animals. I I hit 3 curbs. But overall, I would say that's pretty good for having to sit on the wrong side of the car, drive on the wrong side of the road. Probably one of the best things we did when we got to Dublin. We flew into Dublin, we got a cab to our hotel and in the Temple Bar area. And it was an early morning flight. And so we learned from the cab driver during the day, the cab drivers in the city are residents, are Dublin born and raised. Those guys, the old school guys, they pretty much just work mornings and middays. And then in the evenings, it's more the traditional cab companies that take over and do things. So this guy had been there his whole life. He's telling us places to go, telling us places to stay away from. And the 2 pieces of advice he gave me about driving in Ireland, one, he said, just hug the bushes. Whatever you do, just hug the bushes. And remember that the left lane is the slow lane and just stay there as much as you can. Don't worry about everybody else around you. People are polite for the most part, unless they're late for work. And the other piece of advice he gave me was about roundabouts, which of course we have them here, but not nearly as prolific as they are there. Oh my gosh. I felt like sometimes every 100 feet we were going through another roundabout, but he did give me the guidance of if I'm getting off in the first 2 legs of the roundabout to go in the left lane, and if it's the second, then second 2 exits off the roundabout to get in the right lane. And that made so much more sense when my GPS was saying go right on the roundabout, but you can't, you have to go left. And there was only one day when we were driving and my niece said, what are you doing? Get on the other side of the road. But thankfully it was a pretty narrow road. And for the most part, those little roads, I was kind of just driving in the middle anyway. But we had to stop for sheep in the road once. But we never got tired of pointing out fields full of sheep or fields full of cows. They were everywhere. Holly says, proud of you. Thank you. Yeah, I was joking that maybe I'd have a hard time readapting to driving back in Michigan, but no, I'm pretty practiced at that. Favorite things that we saw, the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland was really, really cool. Just the natural basalt stone formations. Everything there is just so green and so beautiful. And I see why people who live there never tire of how beautiful it is, how green it is. And yes, you can go in one high spot and look, and it kind of looks the same as it does in another high spot, but it doesn't make it any less breathtaking. There was a little place that we heard about from a YouTube travel blogger, and it was in a place called Keshkorin, and it was called the Caves of Kesh. And we'd find these places and we're both like, there is no way that this is a popular place. The way our navigation is taking us down this 2-track road, how can this be a tourist destination? And there would be like a little car park for like 3 maybe four vehicles and a little sign that tells you where you are. And that was it. But these caves we parked and with so many of the things, we would look at our destination and go, oh my gosh, that's so far. But it really wasn't a bad hike for much of any of it. But just climbing up to the caves and looking out over the landscape, that was probably my favorite of everything that we did. It was just so peaceful. Just enough of a hike up there that it's out of the way. But I've said to many people, like, if I lived around here, I would just get my lunch and hike up here and just sit for the day up there. It was gorgeous. The people were wonderful. Um, Hardly anybody speeds on the expressway over there. I thought it was so bizarre. Like if you were going the speed limit, you were going faster than like 75% of the cars. It was a little bit of a change to get used to. And our cab driver on the way back to the airport on our final day said, oh yeah, the what do they call them? Garda. The police over there will pull you over and give you a ticket if you're going 5 kilometers per hour over the speed limit. So that would be why nobody speeds over there. Okay, enough about that stuff though. So the day I mentioned that we went to a farmer's market. So Saturday in Boyle, they had a little local farmer's market and we showed up there. There it was that kind of rainy, drizzly day. There were 5 vendors, you guys. So, you know, farmers markets can struggle no matter where they are, but we talked to people, we talked to vendors, we talked to locals. We still found really cool things to purchase to support local vendors. There was somebody there selling honey, tons and tons of different kinds of honey, but they all were in such big jars. I thought, I don't want to risk taking something like that back. And I explained to him, you know, that I'm looking for unique gifts. And he said, well, the honey is not even mine. I'm doing this, I'm working here today for a friend of mine, but I do stained glass. I just don't have it out because it's all in like cardboard boxes and it's really wet, but would you like to see some? So of course, so he pulled out this plastic bin of all of these little boxed pieces of stained glass, and there were so many that were just beautiful. I narrowed it down to 2. One might be a gift for V, but they might just both be for me because they're just so cool. So I got, of course, he had a sheep. Look how cute that is. And of course, it's, you know, the same for the most part on both sides, but just a cute little sheep. And then he had this gorgeous rainbow heart. Might be for V, but it might be for myself just because, again, it's just absolutely beautiful. I love the copper in it. Just really neat. There were a few things of fused glass that I got, but I can't show those off because those are going to be gifts for people. So those I got at the farmer's market. I know I got a couple other things. There was a woman there selling wax melts. We got some of that and making her own candles. There was a woman there who did all of her own art with things. A lot of it was cow themed. So I didn't end up with much of that. But in Galway, we spent a couple days in Galway. We spent my birthday in Galway. What a cool town. We found a pottery studio. I got a couple gifts. Oops. I can't show you because it's very similar to what I got for somebody else. So I can't show it off. But we found this a woman that has a pottery studio there, and it's called Judy Green's. And she did all of these different styles of pottery of things. So I got this for myself. And I think they said it's designed for like espresso cups and sugars for coffee or for espresso. But last year when I was in France with my brother, I got a really cool spoon rest that had like lavender hand painted on it. So I got lavender, this little two-piece. Look at how cute that is with that on the top of there to go with it. And it could hold yarn needles. I'm thinking I might put some succulents in here, repot a couple of my succulents and have them in here in the kitchen window because I think it would be really cute. But we'll see. So I got that for myself. We went to the Aran Islands. So the one day we were in Galway, we booked we booked a ferry that went from Galway to the largest of the Aran Islands, Inish More. Sorry. There's one that looks like Inishore, but I think it's Inisheer, and then there's Inishmore. So the largest of the three islands is Inishmore. We went there. The boat ride there was pretty smooth. Again, it was kind of a drizzly day, but it stayed in the distance on our trip over there. The island, we rented bikes and we rode along what would be kind of the northern coast of it to the highest point, climbed up to some ruins up there, took a bunch of pictures, and then rode bikes back down. But they had, of course, everywhere you go, there are the Aran sweater markets, the Aran sweater stores. And I kind of didn't want to be that touristy person that was wearing the store-bought Aran cabled sweater around Ireland because I don't think a lot of the locals wear the brightly colored ones or the jumpers, things like that. However, on the Aran Islands, I did find, I figured I have to buy myself an Aran sweater. So this one was from the original Aran company. And so I bought this for myself. It's blue, you guys. Look at how pretty that is. They just had piles and piles and piles of sweaters. And so I couldn't pass this one up. I looked at everything, made sure that it was one that was handmade, hand knit. There were some that looked like they were actually machine knit, but prior to coming on the live, I was looking at it while Melissa and I were talking, and of course, because I'm a knitter, I'm kind of visually deconstructing things. I thought it was interesting. They put, you probably can't see it, but along the edge of the cuff, they put 2 strings of elastic. The cuff and the bottom ribbing, they put 2 strands of elastic around there, which I thought was kind of an interesting thing. I don't think they did the cast on around it because it is knit cuff up, but I imagine they run that through afterwards, which because it's kind of a tubular cast on. So, I'm just analyzing everything. The one store they have has all of the different clan Aran patterns. So my mom's family is like 80% Irish. And so we found and I'll try to remember to post some of these pictures. The store had all of the different clan crests, and then in each cubby they had the clan cable pattern and for each family. So my niece is Irish on our side, on her dad's side, which would be my brother, but also on her mom's side. So she was looking for their family pattern. And I was tempted to buy like a scarf, or I found a poncho that had my mom's family's Aran pattern on it. But then I went in the back room of that place and I found Atlantic Coast Yarns, spun in Ireland, and it's a merino Aran with cashmere blend yarn. So it's 97% merino, 3% cashmere, made in Ireland, Donegal yarns. That little bit of cashmere in it gives it a little bit of softness you don't normally find in a woolly Aran, traditional Aran yarn. But I found the pattern for my mom's family's poncho and cable design. So I'm going to make myself my own poncho, I think, with this. I just got the natural color. I had to dig and dig and dig through the bin for enough of the natural color, but I found some. So that's my plan for that yarn. Linda, thank you. I'm more and more I'm gravitating to this blue for my clothing, and I love it. As much as I love summer, I am kind of looking forward to sweater weather, being able to wear the sweaters. Like today would have been a good day for it. My kiddo even sent me a text this morning, and she was wearing one of her slouchy sock head hat beanies that I knit for her, and a store-bought sweater with a coffee in her hand. How excited she was. It was sweater weather. So that was the yarn I got at one place. And then I also got, it's from the same company, from the Atlantic Coast Yarns. So I did find two different yarn stores when we were over there. This yarn that I'm going to show you in a minute was from a small store in Mullingar, which apparently their claim to fame these days is that one of the members from One Direction, that's his hometown. So there's like a mural to him there. And my niece was bound and determined that while we were walking the streets there, getting coffee and shopping, that we might run into him. So we spent a couple days wandering the town there, but we found a shop there. And so she had this a little bit heavier, really like a traditional woolly wool Aran yarn. So I only ended up with two skeins. I got one in kind of an oatmeal color and one in this olivey green. I'm thinking I might be able to make something that's kind of MSU-ish without being like green and white for real. But it is a pretty, I mean, like you can see in this, there's like all kinds of veg matter and stuff in here. It's a pretty woolly wool. So I'm thinking it might be something like mittens. I don't want to do slippers because I don't trust them on her feet. But or if you guys have any ideas. So I only just have the one skein of each. It's yardage wise. 164 yards a piece and 100 grams. So it's like it is an Aran weight yarn, heavier than a worsted, a little bit thinner than a chunky. Go white. I know I'm supposed to say go white. So I'm thinking maybe some color work mittens or gloves, but if you have other suggestions, maybe a hat, but I still feel like that might be too itchy on her forehead. So let me know. My puppy's starting to bark. I had to put her in her crate because otherwise she'd be tearing through the house and jumping on me and barking more out the window. So the other yarn store that we went to was in Dublin, and it was one Karen found. And it was in a place called the Townhouse something. But it was a whole like indoor shopping area, and the store was called This Is Knit. Very much a destination, a tourist, in a good way, a tourist destination yarn store. So they had an entire wall that was their own line of hand-dyed yarns, which I found out from somebody the other day that it's actually her daughter that is the store owner's daughter, who is the one who dyes their custom yarns for them. So they had different displays of different bases of yarn, but theirs is called Townhouse Yarns. And you can see a picture of, if it'll come in, this is the building that they are inside. And of all the things that we saw in Dublin, a lot of the things my niece would say, oh, I saw this on TikTok and we have to see that. Or, oh, I saw this on TikTok and we have to see that. The portal and the spire and the Molly Malone statue and the Guinness storehouse. Like we saw all of these things in our 2 days, really, while we were there just walking around. We would come across the cathedrals and the Trinity College. But this townhouse building, we didn't know anything about, but it was such a cool place. It was just beautiful inside. This is it was on the second floor. And so I got this, they call it Drury DK. It's a merino cashmere nylon yarn, of course, for me. And I think I'm gonna make one of Petite Knits sweaters. She's got one that kind of looks like the Stephen West Dustland sweater, where it's just kind of a different stitch sampler. So I wanted something that was more muted, but it's this beautiful, beautiful silvery gray, and then it's got all these little speckles down in there. But that was my splurge purchase for myself while we were there. When am I gonna knit it? I don't know. What kind of question is that? Who even asks that question? It'll happen sometime down the line. A lot of times when I'm traveling, I actually like to take my souvenir projects with me. Then I don't feel guilty that I'm working on them when I'm not at the shop. So, yeah, I know that there was so much more that I wanted to tell you guys about about our trip, but I can hear my dog starting to go a little bit crazy in her crate, so I might have to cut this short. We did a vintage tea tour in Dublin that was really, really fun. They took us around the city. We had tea and little finger cakes and treats. A lot of really good stuff. So was worth it. Would do it again. Would recommend. Ireland is beautiful. Yeah, I think that's probably all I have time to talk about for tonight. So thanks for listening to me ramble for a while. Again, the shop will be open normal hours this week, Wednesday through Saturday, as far as what we are planning. I just won't be there. I probably won't be there Wednesday. I'm not sure about Thursday yet. Just give my body a couple more days to recover and get back into things. Maybe actually unpack and put away the rest of my stuff from my travels. So I hope everybody has a great week. I hope anybody that I saw on Thursday or Friday doesn't end up with whatever this crud is that I have. I kind of feel like I wasn't around people enough to do much damage, so hopefully that's the case. My cat just jumped up on the table. So have a good week. If we don't see you in the shop, then we'll meet back here. Well, I'll be at the shop, but on Facebook and on YouTube next Monday at 7. So have a great night, and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.